Like and subscribe and click the bell icon to get new video updates.
Cyrano infuses an oft-told tale with disarming sincerity and operatic passion. Primary content. Peter Dinklage aches with unrequited love in this musical retelling of the famous Cyrano de Bergerac story. Cyrano isn't always the most graceful retelling, but it is hard not to admire its conviction. DAVIES, host, This is Fresh Air. The famous story of Cyrano de Bergerac has been adapted for the screen many times since the play was first staged in 1897. The latest film version, called Cyrano, is a musical starring Peter Dinklage in the title role. It is directed by Joe Wright, whose other films include Pride and Prejudice, and Atonement. Cyrano opens in theaters this week. Our film critic, Justin Chang, has this review. Justin Chang, BYLINE. A lot of great actors have played Cyrano de Bergerac over the years, including Jose Ferrer, Christopher Plummer, Gerard Depardieu, Kline and Steve Martin, if you count, and why not? The 1987 modern-day comedy Roxanne, the latest to join their distinguished company, is Peter Dinklage, and he is the rare actor not to wear a fake nose for the role. Here, it is not a big schnoz but rather Cyrano's diminutive stature that makes him think he is unworthy of Roxanne, the woman he loves, played by Haley Bennett. That is not the only major departure from Edmond Rostand's tragicomic 1897 play. This solid and sometimes enchanting movie, simply titled Cyrano, was adapted by Erica Schmidt from her 2019 stage musical, with a score and songs by members of the band The National. Their sweet, somber melodies bring a decidedly modern edge to the story, which takes place sometime between the 17th and 18th centuries. While Cyrano de Bergerac usually unfolds in Paris, the movie, shot mostly in Sicily, doesn't specify an exact location. Apart from those changes, it is the same story. Cyrano, a respected soldier in the king's army, is renowned and feared for his superb swordsmanship and his scathing wit, both of which have made him powerful enemies like Count de Guiche, played by a scowling Ben Mendelsohn. Cyrano is also deeply in love with Roxanne, a longtime friend who admires his confrontational spirit and his way with words. But Roxanne has fallen for Christian, a dashing young soldier, played by a very good Kelvin Harrison Jr, who has just joined Cyrano's regiment. Cyrano takes on the role of a go-between and even goes so far as to write impossibly eloquent love letters to Roxanne, passing them off as Christianess. At the climax of this farcical romantic triangle, Roxanne stands at her bedroom window, while the hopelessly inarticulate Christian tries to woo her with some much-needed prodding from Cyrano, lurking in the shadows. At a certain point, Cyrano takes over, and he gives full voice to his passionate feelings in this lovely duet between him and a still unsuspecting Roxanne. Soundbite of film, Cyrano. Haley Bennett, as Roxanne, singing, "Your letters to me are like music." Peter Dinklage, as Cyrano de Bergerac, singing, "They read just a mask in a lonely cowardice game." Bennett, as Roxanne, singing, "What is it you re so afraid of losing?" Dinklage, as Cyrano de Bergerac, singing, "I might lose everything if I lose the pain." Haley Bennett and Peter Dinklage, as Roxanne and Cyrano de Bergerac, singing, "'Cause every time I see you I am overcome. It make you laugh to think someone like me could keep someone like you. Look what I've become." Chang, fun fact, Peter Dinklage and screenwriter Erica Schmidt are a couple, as are Haley Bennett and the film's director, Joe Wright. Think of it as a romantic behind-the-scenes footnote to a movie that is unabashedly romantic in spirit. Wright's filmmaking has a pleasing, old-fashioned sumptuousness, courtesy of production designer Sarah Greenwood and costume designers Massimo Cantini Parini and Jacqueline Duran, who are Oscar-nominated for their dazzling work here. And as always, Wright controls the camera with fluid grace, letting us see the actors and dancers moving through space with none of the busy cutting you get in so many contemporary movie musicals. Bennett is a trained singer, and she delivers the movie's strongest musical performance. Her Roxanne really comes to emotional life when she is called on to sing. Dinklage has musical experience too. He was the frontman of a 90s punk band called Wizzy, and he expresses Cyrano's every longing with a deep, soulful baritone. He is an inspired choice for the role, like Tyrion Lannister, whom Dinklage played to perfection on Game of Thrones. Cyrano is always the smartest person in the room, easy to underestimate, but hard to defeat in a battle of wits or weapons. But Dinklage shows you the deep ache at Cyrano's core and makes you feel the sting of his unrequited love. Some purists may miss that big nose, but there is something about the lack of prosthetic enhancements that makes Dinklage's performance all the more